podcast.
It's the Ho Rogan podcast.
Kristen and Alli by day, Ho Rogan by night.
Perfect. Hey ho.
Hey ho.
We were just talking about our hands, and like I have long witchy fingers, and Kristen was saying hers are short. My second toe is bigger than my first toe. Do you have that at all?
My first toe is about 10 times as long as any other toe on my foot.
Oh, there we go. That's perfect. You're a freak like me. Yeah. I was like, am I going to be exposing myself as some kind of... Because I was like, it's not like in some weird like Shallow Hal. Wait, was that the movie where the girl's foot was like crazy? It's just like slightly... But yours sounds like it might be a Shallow Hal situation, actually.
Well, no, one foot is actually not that bad. And the other one, as I'm getting older, my toes are curving a little bit. So they're getting like hammery.
Oh, interesting.
Which is making it more extreme. But when I wear socks, it's actually interesting. I prefer to have bare feet sometimes over socks because my first toe is so high up that
it like plunges into the material too much.
Yes, and then the rest of the sock just goes like this. Like there's no natural decline of just like
it's like a tent. It's just for like it just goes limp.
Like if you put a blanket over you standing there.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Sock looks like.
Well, but it's supposed to be. I've had this argument with people that you're athletic, that you're very athletic if your second toe is bigger than your first.
That's what I've heard. Technically, your first toe is supposed to be bigger than the second. But I've also seen absurd charts that speak to just like how self-involved are we, where I see a chart and it's like what your toe lengths mean about you.
Yeah,
you know.
I know. We're so searching to find out.
Just need to know more about me.
Yeah. Yes. Like astrology is not enough. What does the toe chart say?
Right.
Bring on whatever. Well, we're starting late again. Poor Jorge. We keep guaranteeing we're going to be on time. Then what's ridiculous is I always think, like, when I leave myself a safety net, I still end up being late. Like, I honestly think it's like a preordained thing in my life, which is ridiculous and an asshole thing to believe.
I do too. And it's you say safety net.
Yeah.
I think our safety net
is like 3 minutes.
Well, like, no, like if you actually physically picture a safety net, if someone's doing trapeze, it's like we would fall directly through like the one little hole that's in the trapeze
seam
net.
That has like the little like loops that you could fall through.
Yeah. But like they don't look harmful.
Yep.
Those are where we fall into. Like,
well, because even coming here, I was literally like right on time. And it took me a minute to find parking. But then I was running to get here and someone was walking into this building. And so I just followed. I'm like, oh, I don't have to buzz. I followed him in. But it wasn't this building. It was the building next door. Yes. So now I'm like, and then I'm running, and it looks kind of similar, but I'm like, this doesn't quite feel right. And I got to the courtyard place, and then all of a sudden I was
you've done that twice now.
Twice now. All of a sudden I was fully looking into other people's apartments, and I was like, I did it again. So
I just want you to just give up and just sit in one of the apartments and end up watching TV with one of them.
I'm just going to be like, do you have Seinfeld on?
Yeah.
Because I live here now, apparently.
Yeah. Well, for me, my being late today, and I do quotations because compared to how late I could normally be.
Yes.
It was an improvement.
You're like, I'm on time for me.
For me.
Absolutely. Even Jorge said that. He's like, progress.
Yeah, it is progress.
Yes.
Yeah. But I fell asleep and I had an alarm clock on. I knew I needed to fall asleep, but God damn, it's exhausting commenting to people online.
Yeah.
When you're passionate about something and they're passionate about something and you are sure they're wrong.
Yeah.
I feel so zapped of energy.
Well, this will bring us right to our first subject, which this isn't really going to be a fun podcast because we want to talk about Charlie Kirk and how he got assassinated and what happened and the aftermath of it, which has been especially disgusting. But that is the thing. Like, he showed up face to face to actually debate with people because it is exhausting arguing online. And half the time you're arguing with an anonymous person. They don't want to reveal who they are. They're saying ridiculous ad hominem attack type things as opposed to arguing the points. And this is the argument I'm having with people online too, is he went up and did the thing that everyone says we need to do. Everyone says our two sides aren't getting along. We need to have a conversation. And he went and he showed up to do that. And whether you agree with his opinions or not, and I do agree with many, I don't agree with many, who agrees with everyone's opinions across the board? It's crazy. He was genuine. He was kind. He was calm. He was respectful. And people argue with me on those points. And it's ridiculous. He got sassy throughout a debate, but he opened the mic to anybody. And he probably had, I don't know what his division was amongst the crowd, if it was more conservative or liberal, but whoever took the mic, whether it was, a religious guy in a suit or like a blue-haired person with a Palestinian flag, he told the hecklers, shut up, let them have their moment, let them say their piece, and he debated them on the merits of their arguments. Who can disagree or attack that? I don't get how that made people so angry.
You ask who can disagree and attack that. And it seems like a massive amount of people can. And I don't think the entire left does or is.
Right.
But a massive amount of people are. If I log on to Facebook, and there is, and I don't like Facebook. I haven't been active on it in a very long time until he was shot. And then it was like, all right, motherfuckers, I'm back.
Yeah.
But there's a skew given the fact that I did live in Los Angeles for 10 years and we have done stand-up comedy. And so you just accept whatever friend requests come in, especially 10 years ago on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
So at one point, it's 5,000 friends of people that I don't know, but generally people that were more in the show business, Hollywood sphere. So there is a lean toward that in my Facebook. And I've tried to just start not just like defriending people out of bitterness, just like, I don't know this person. I don't want them as my friend anymore. Goodbye.
Yeah.
For the sake of just cleaning house to get closer to adulthood in a way. Like, I don't know, people who don't do stand-up don't necessarily have 5,000 Facebook friends. They have like 1,000 and they know some of them. I want to get to that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because you end up arguing with your, best friends, college roommates, brother's nephews, plumber.
That I don't remember ever meeting.
And you never did, most likely.
Right. I don't remember.
And they'll antagonize you.
Exactly. And it's like, it feels like they're flies that just keep buzzing up, and you swat one away and then another one comes, and you swat the other one away and then the other one comes. And as I've talked about before on the show, I don't like to be mean to insects.
I think we didn't release that one. That we did.
Oh, we didn't?
Exactly. That was the first one that we were like, that's just for us.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But we did go on about how, like later in life, we're both becoming almost Buddhist. Like I literally can't kill. I'll try to get everything outdoors before killing. Like,
well,
the crunch of I can't take it.
Oh, it's the crunch.
And also, why do they not deserve to live?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who says that we choose that being dies? I don't know.
Just because they're annoying us a little. It's like, a fly or something. It's like, I try to get it out the window.
Right. Well, my wonderful friend who, I won't reference by name at this point. I'll ask her if I can say her name at some point. But we were on the phone yesterday, I think, and she said there was like hundreds of ants randomly in her house.
Oh, yeah.
And she saw our podcast that...
Oh, no. we talked
and I was like, you better have not called an exterminator. Like, I would have been there picking up every single one of them. And
you better have created a tunnel that led right to your patio door.
A carpeted soft one with some snacks for them to take on the way.
Yes, exactly.
She was like, I had those motherfuckers killed. No, she didn't say that. But like...
The problem is you do have to at points.
Yes.
But the people, like I remember going to Costa Rica and they have like, you do these tours where they show you all these animals and it's incredible. And a lot of it that they show is insects. And they have these little ants and they're carrying the little pieces of plants.
Yes.
To like build stuff. And
they follow a path.
They follow a path. And like people who just stomp those out just for fun, that's is infuriating. Yeah.
Infuriating.
That's like serial killer behavior to me. That's like tantamount to messing with cats and dogs.
It really is. It really is. And then I don't know what you'd call our behavior or my behavior, but like spending more time in the pool scooping out bugs that fly in than just relaxing. That could also be
a crazy OCD.
An OCD psychotic.
Probably.
Not like murderer, but like psychotic in some way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, it's a nice summer day.
Everyone else is playing volleyball.
Yeah.
And you're just like, be free. Be
Yeah.
free. Live on.
So imagine that's how we feel toward ants.
Yeah.
Maybe some actual ants, like uncles. No. That's how we feel toward
Insects.
insects.
Yeah. Just living beings.
My heart literally sinks if I accidentally step on an ant. What kind of heart do you have to aim a gun at another human being? It doesn't matter who it is, because it's obviously, it could be children in school, it could be people on the street, it could be gang related, it could be hunting accident related and or intentional. I don't. But just pulling a trigger and willingly taking the life of a human being, as much as I dislike human beings,
Yeah.
the thought of it actually makes me want to vomit.
Yeah.
If it makes me that sick over killing an ant. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
What possesses or how someone can live with themselves.
Yeah. And it is a loss of words, but also not because I have a million to say, but also I think that shrinks them down to nothing because I don't even know where to start with how despicable it is.
Well, especially when it's because I'm a Second Amendment proponent. I'm okay with guns in the country. I think for self-defense, especially as women, if you have a 200-pound guy coming after you and you're a 100-pound woman, you need something to combat that. I think guns, my dad always had them in the house. So guns are not the problem here to me. And I mean, this debate is just whatever, nauseating.
will
It happens.
never
It'll
end.
never end. But the mentally ill people who use them, and for the reasons they use them, is the major problem. It's like there are instances where you might need to use a gun, where you do need to use a gun. When someone is trying to encourage debate and free speech and you disagree with what they're doing or what they're saying, that's not the time. And anyone who's celebrating that as a solution or as a blessing is truly sick.
Yeah, and the amount that I've seen is wild.
Yeah.
Because so there's this video from TikTok. The girl is a history major or I don't know, history PhD something.
Yeah.
But she talked about what the world generally, or a country generally, looks like before there is some sort of rebellion or civil war or something major. And she said that the celebration in the past of political people being assassinated, there's always celebrators that
Sure.
agree.
Yeah.
In the past, that has not gone well. When there's celebrations, that is generally pointed to the other side saying enough is enough and a war will begin and or some sort of rebellion or revolution will begin. She said, but if you can whitewash the celebrations a little bit or erase them a little bit or mellow them out, then they can slink back into their holes and not get a huge reaction from the rest of the country. But she was saying, and I agree, I mean, we have no idea what's going to happen. And she said, this was yesterday. So for people listening, obviously, this will be out in like 2 months.
Yeah. Once again, because we're late all the time.
So Charlie was killed 2 days ago.
Yeah. And we're taping this.
And this is
on
on
what is today? Friday.
Friday. And so 3 days
The 12th.
later.
Yeah.
And so her video was yesterday, the 11th. It could change. I don't know. But in her estimation, she said, I do think something major is going to happen. And so many people can say that. But she didn't know what.
Meaning
exactly.
other assassinations in response?
No,
Or
as in a rise up from the other side.
I can't imagine what that would look like. I don't know how there would be an uprising. But what I do think is happening a little bit and should be happening much more is just firings. You know, they had the guy
And
on
they-
MSNBC who, and
Yeah.
kudos to them, they immediately fired him, who said, basically, you know, we don't even know this might be a celebratory gunshot.
That was the
by a
stupidest
fan.
thing I've.
Yeah,
That was
to
the
an
stupidest
artery
thing
from a sniper. It was so stupid. And then he went on to say, you know, basically blame the victim. Basically, you know, his speech was hate speech and that begets violence. And his speech is not hate speech. You can disagree with what he says. He was not a hateful person.
No.
I think that's a fact. People can have a different opinion, but I don't even see how.
Well, people water down concepts to fit their narrative.
Yeah.
So, for example, DEI. He did not agree with DEI.
Yeah.
I don't agree with DEI.
And he brought data-backed arguments.
And he brought data-backed arguments.
And he listened to the opposition so that he could give a counter.
Right. So I got a fair amount of messages and or comments saying he hated black people.
Yes, I saw that.
And what it turned out to be was him not supporting DEI.
Yeah,
Those are two wildly different things.
absolutely.
And then there are so many minorities that don't support DEI.
Clarence Thomas is one of them. And I know the left hates Clarence Thomas, but yeah.
Thomas Sowell, who is
Oh, he's
a
brilliant.
genius.
Yeah.
this black amazing genius. I say black because people don't know who he is. He's
It's crazy
completely
that people don't know.
undercredited.
Yes,
He's wildly intelligent. He's in his 90s now.
I know.
But there are great minds that understand the importance of merit-based societies
And black excellence.
and black excellence.
There's
and
a lot of that, and you temper that by making people think that you have to lower the standards.
Right. So my favorite phrase not favorite phrase, but I think I might have said this to you. It stuck with me so much the first time I heard it years ago, but the soft bigotry of low expectations.
Yep.
And the fact that people hide behind that as a moral superior stance, it's not at all. It is the crueler route to take. What I believe and what I'm learning as I go is policies that are long-term, future setting type policies where there will be some pain in the beginning or some loss in the beginning, not loss of like life necessarily, but those are Band-Aids on Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
And so if we put a program in place, let's say reducing SNAP credits so that people can't buy junk food, that forces people to eat healthier, which all of a sudden increases the entire
Health of the population.
health of the population, but the culture in itself.
Yeah.
But then someone starts eating healthier, and of course this isn't for every single person, but they start eating healthier, maybe they feel better.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be a lot of side bonuses that occur.
And then once they feel better, maybe they feel motivated to go out and look for a career. Or, and of course there are people in certain circumstances that need government assistance no matter what. But there are so many people relying on the government that don't really need it. I've seen a couple videos of these people that I won't say overweight,
Okay.
but are both on disability, couples.
Yeah.
And they mock the system because they get paid to take care of each other.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot of abuse of the system.
That
So-
is also one that I think should be up for debate, if overweight should be considered a disability.
Right.
Especially at this point where there's medicine that can actually help with that. And you're not allowed to have these conversations.
That's the thing.
Which is the thing. And that is what, and that's what Charlie Kirk would say, that's what begets violence, because we're so unaccustomed to hearing people speak out with different opinions that are unpopular that people just want to shut you up.
Right. But these opinions are deemed, or these points of views are deemed as evil and
Racist,
careless and
bigoted.
racist. When you look at the big picture, that's how you actually help people.
Yeah.
By enabling them, you are hurting them in the long run. It's almost like politics now to me just looks like parenting. Either you parent in a way that makes a child, and I mean, I come from like the softest parents ever. Like, I was like in the kitchen, I'd be like, Mom, can you make me a bowl of cereal? So like, but if you set as a government, if you set people up to have to be able to survive on their own, they will survive. They will find a way to survive. There's the instinct to survive.
Right.
But when we enable these behaviors, that's the cruel route to take. But people hide behind the fact that that sounds better in the moment. It's a lot more difficult to be the person like you or I who says the parenting thing that may upset the teenager for the moment, but help them succeed in the long run.
Sure.
This is not what we're talking about and what we're doing. This is not something you do to be liked. This is, honestly, it's courageous.
Yeah.
And it takes spinal fortitude to actually say the things that no one is willing to say. I know we know that, but what it just drives me so insane because I know deep down to the surface level of myself that my intent for every single human being is nothing but, even though so many are annoying as fuck, and as I have in my ex bio, love thy neighbor, even if thy neighbor is a dipshit.
Yeah.
But I want love and peace and all of that.
Happiness. Yeah.
And I see getting to that destination differently. And it's demonized as that's me being a bad person. And that's what I'm so sick of. It's this inability to think with any sort of nuance whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's immediate gratification or you're evil. And it really feels like people's brains stop developing at 6 years old and they have the logic and understanding and reasoning of an obstinate child.
Yeah. It's because we've treated people with like kid gloves for so long. If you look back at even how Bill Clinton spoke or Barack Obama, even on the immigration issue,
Yeah.
Barack Obama was like, if you want to come here,
gotta
you're
do
going
legal.
to stand in line. You're going to learn English. You're going to get a job. Can you imagine someone saying that now? It literally, you're like, you'd be canceled. And that's the most reasonable thing that you can possibly say. So I don't know how in so few years, we've come to a place where we can't speak common sense. And you're right, being empathetic, and this is a word that keeps coming up because people were like, Charlie Kirk didn't believe in empathy.
Right. Oh, my God.
And it's not that he didn't believe in empathy. He was saying it's not empathetic to allow people to live in their own filth on the
Exactly.
street. You need to actually force people to have a better play in life. And like you said, it might hurt. It might not be pleasant to begin with. But we have to actually do difficult things. And it is more empathetic to do that. Like the word empathy has gotten so twisted into basically saying anyone should be allowed to behave how they want anytime. And if you're a criminal, you should be able to just get back out on the street with no bail because you probably had a rough life. So, man, we feel bad about it. Go murder people freely.
Right.
And it's a crazy notion.
Right. Suicidal empathy.
That's exactly it.
And Gad Saad, who's one of my favorite thinkers, he's a professor.
I love him. That name, though, is crazy.
It is.
Gad Saad is
I know. I know. SAAD, though.
I know. So Gad Saad, I think you're right.
Yeah. So, like, his YouTube podcast is The Sad Truth or The Sod Truth or whatever.
Yep.
He is so fucking funny. He's so good at satirizing the absurdities
Yes.
of, unfortunately, at this point, the left.
Yeah.
They've become a walking SNL skit when SNL was actually may be funny.
I agree, but I do have to interject that I do think we have crazies on the right too.
Oh,
I think once
absolutely.
you're, radicalized on both sides, there are crazy people. But I think some of the even less radicalized people on the left are also crazy. Is the difference?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
You can be much less of a radical on the right and still be called more extreme than the most non-crazy, crazy left person.
Yeah.
Like the scale is different. And
Well, also the fact that like the mainstream left, a lot of them believe in basically, transing kids, like just certain notions that should be common sense that's embraced by the whole party. But I do talk to liberal friends that are like, that isn't a core belief of most of us. And I'm like, oh, because if you watch the news, it does seem like it is.
right.
So
And-
it's hard to differentiate some of the radicals from the normies at that point. But I think, the extremists are definitely both sides.
and that's why the dialogue is so important.
Yes.
And they took away the one person really truly having a dialogue.
And gaining so much momentum, which is why they took him out. I mean, listen, Charlie Kirk was not cool by any stretch. He's a dorky kid. He's a super Christian. He's all about work. He is not cool, yet students were so excited when he came to campus, and both, like left and right, because they wanted to stand in line and debate this guy if they thought he was cool or if they thought he was a douche. And he let them do it. I mean, people would throw things at him. They'd call him names. They'd heckle him. I was trying to find clips where, someone grabbed a hat off his head and ran away with it. And he basically was like, he was telling his bodyguards, he's like, let him go at it. Like,
Right.
This is the thing. This is what discourse becomes. It's not getting out of control. If you don't blow off steam in this sense, you're going to blow it off in a more violent way, which is what ended up happening. He was, when people are like, he had it coming, ha ha ha. I'm like, hey, in one sense, you're right. He saw it. He knew that he was taking a risk every time. But to laugh about that is crazy. It's like he did support the Second Amendment. He said people were going to get shot. He got shot. It's a very, very, very sad thing. For anyone to think that that's ironic in a funny way is sick.
Yeah, it's the same idea as someone saying, I support cars, and then getting hit and killed in a car accident.
You
And they're like, oh,
it.
he was supportive of cars.
It's insane.
And the amount
It's
of
a
people.
constitutional right.
Right. The number of people who die in car accidents is also incredibly high.
Yeah.
And so it's not that off of a comparison. So I believe in the Second Amendment. So I also have a heart of gold. Does that mean I deserve to get shot in the neck? Does that mean Allie deserves to get shot in the
that's
neck?
the craziest, explanation for why you think it was okay for someone to die. It makes no sense, first of all. And I mean, for people to put out, it's one thing for kids who don't know what they're doing to try to create a stir, but like people in the education industry, like they're teachers, employed teachers who are putting out that they're glad that he died.
Oh, yeah.
There's people in the
And there are
medical,
firings. You
Well, that's
mentioned-
what I'm saying. So I'm seeing like movement
Right.
towards like, hey,
Right.
people are like, hey, let's dox this person, and I'm in favor of that as far as this goes. If you're going to put out an ugly opinion and say, especially if you're in a higher learning institution, the basis of schools is to have an open discourse where you debate ideas freely, and you want people you want an exchange of differing opinions, because that's how you learn. So the people who are like, he should die for encouraging this are the dumbest people alive. You can disagree with what he says all you want. What he's doing is what you're supposed to be doing in
Are
school
they
campuses.
dumb, or are their souls broken?
Both, I think. I mean, I really don't understand. And also, I can't even imagine, even if I had these ugly thoughts, being so comfortable to put it out there and say it and then fight with people
Right.
in favor of someone should have died who has kids, who's 31 years old.
There was a tweet that said, looked like the bullet won the debate. And at that point, when I saw it, it had 120,000 likes on X.
Yeah.
120,000
It's a sick world.
chose with their finger or because I don't want to be exclusive with their elbow if they don't have hands, to click like on a
Yep.
tweet like that. They chose that. They had a moment.
Yeah.
And it's like in murder cases, if you have a moment to decide whether or not you're going to kill someone, that's considered first-degree murder.
Yeah.
You had enough time to decide to kill someone or not. These people, this is them liking the tweet, but they had enough time to decide,
Yeah.
should I hit this or should I not? And they did. And that's first-degree murder to your soul. This is really soul. It disconnects us from, as I'm obviously the spiritual
Yeah.
one, so you could just call me wacky, but it disconnects us from our innocence, our divine nature. I do believe we are all fingers on the same hand. I'm my fat finger though. And Allie's a
Which
very
finger?
creepy, witchy
Exactly.
thing.
Yes.
But we are really all fingers on the same hand. And when you hurt someone else, whether it's Charlie Kirk or a stranger by flipping them off in traffic,
Yeah.
you hurt all of us. It hurts us as a collective. And so,
And you don't have to be spiritual to think that. I totally agree. Without, believing in some higher power. It's like just on a normal level of us all living here on this earth, that makes sense. Why would you want to celebrate in someone's tragedy?
right, the reverberation
Yeah.
of actions goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And I won't go in too depth into this now. I will at some point. Lucky you guys. But I listened to a lot. I basically studied near-death experiences for the past 5 years,
Right.
which is someone dying clinically and being revived. The stories are wildly, wildly similar. And I know someone could say, oh, that's because your brain's losing oxygen. No, these are, when your brain's losing oxygen, it doesn't have the capability to make sense or meaning, especially this kind of divine meaning out of things. When your brain's losing oxygen, it's chaos. Nothing makes sense. It's a crazy dream. The experiences people have are life-changing to where they change their job, they get divorced because they can't connect with their spouse anymore because they're so deeply spiritual and aware that we are temporary beings in a meat suit. They saw the other side. There's these tenets. There's 15 tenets. If anyone's interested in it, there's a book called Life After Life. It came out in the 70s. It was the first book to open up the conversation about near-death experiences. Obviously, there's going to be some people lying, but I've watched and listened to so many, and they're generally coming from people who don't have a book to sell, who don't work in some sort of healing, spiritual healing. Like
Right.
They're literally normal, everyday people who have these experiences. So anyway, when they go to the other side, again, there's about 15 pillars that are generally hit. Some people hit 2 of them, some hit 7, some get to all 15, some get 1. But one of them is a life review. And in the life review, every single person says it's like a dome comes around them and there's a projector on the wall of their life. But they're simultaneously living it all over again and watching it, but living it from their perspective, but also from the perspective of the other person or people involved. And what 90% of the people say in these life reviews is that they see how their actions, the smallest, tiniest little action, is like throwing a pebble into a perfectly still lake and then watching the ripples.
That's like the butterfly effect.
Totally.
Very Ashton Kutcher. Yeah.
And there can be some people have and they can have both very bad experiences during their life review and very good experiences, or both.
Right.
And most people say no one's judging them but themselves. Like, there's not, and people do see Jesus and whatnot in these experiences, but not everybody does. And some of the people who have seen Jesus are not Christians. Some are, of course. But what they'll say is, I was judging myself, and I was the one not sending myself to hell, so to speak, but going through hell because I felt the pain that I made somebody else feel over and over and over every single time I did it. And I had to live through that exact pain. And so when it's like hands on the same, or fingers on the same hand, that is definitely applicable. But in the spiritual, like the actual spiritual afterlife sense, it becomes so apparent because they'll see how by smiling at somebody, and it might sound cliche, but just by smiling at somebody on the street, they'll see in that life review. They don't remember that memory from real life or when they were alive, but they see how that smile changed that person's day, and that person changed another person's day and another person's day.
Yeah.
And it's cliche. That's a very
Well,
cliche
the message
example.
is just always be kind. Yeah.
Right. And so when someone posts online, looks like the bullet won the debate, I genuinely believe that that person, when they die, they will face their life review, and there were 120,000 likes. That doesn't include the amount of people that saw it and thought it was disgusting.
Right.
I believe that that person will experience the pain that that tweet caused, even if it was for a moment, for every single person that saw it.
Yeah.
And that's where these people will say, like, there's no time on the other side, but at the same time, it felt like eternity. So when they're going through something like that, where they're feeling so much pain that they've caused, it feels like immense self-torture, not torture from fire and brimstone.
I wish that were the case. I just don't believe that people who, callously write that kind of thing have that depth to them.
No,
Even
but
in the
it's-
afterlife that they'll feel.
Oh,
I mean, maybe.
No.
But that's where, because it's like, I mean, that comment, forget about it, because we're friends with so many comics and they're trying to make jokes out of it. Like, there was a guy who literally had Charlie Kirk slumped over after he was shot, and it said he's finally on the left of the gun debate. Like,
Oh, my
the
dear God.
sickest stuff that people are making memes out of and thinking it's funny. And I would love to think that they would feel some form of pain or sadness for what they've done. I really don't. I think they live
will.
these lives. You think so?
they will.
I hope so.
Because
This is where I do hope that there's I hope there's an afterlife, and I hope for spirituality. I'm so scientific. And maybe robotic. It's like I need to see
Right.
proof of stuff before I believe it. And there was nothing that I remember from before we were born. So I don't know why we would feel that after we die. But I do hope
Right.
that that's the case.
And that's a whole thing to get into too, is
Yeah.
getting wiped clean of any sort of memory of existence before. There's a lot of conversation regarding picking your parents. And
They're going to say picking your nose. It's like, is that a bad
well,
sin?
that's
I think
like
I did that when I was a kid.
it's going to be my entire life review.
You're like, God, okay. I got it.
I didn't hurt anyone but my nose. My nose was like, please stop.
Like, you're killing me.
Yeah. No, but I do think this will catch up with everybody at some point. And if I said something
Even
like
just
that
in this world,
online.
maturing in a sense.
Right.
Maybe they'll get married and have kids and start realizing, like, oh my God, if I lost my husband or wife for any reason and somebody decided to publicly make really deranged remarks that people agreed with, I'd be devastated.
Yeah. Before we started, I mentioned that, and you saw the same guy. So when we walked into the building,
Yes.
there was a guy sitting on the stoop who is clearly an immigrant.
Yeah.
And he was watching something on his phone, he looked a little
full
bit
volume,
full-
which is
full
immigrant
volume.
behavior. It's like this tracks. But yeah, because I knew that because I walked in early.
I'm like Tom Homan. I've got it.
exactly.
But
no, he was a very sweet guy.
he
yeah.
was lovely. He was so sweet, and he was listening. And I was pressing the button to get into the building, but I heard it, and I did basically what you did, where I recognized it. But I said something to him, and I turned my head and I said, "Charlie Kirk." And what he was watching was a black man crying in an Instagram video about how heartbroken he was over this.
Yeah.
And I said to this guy, I said, I'm going in to tape a podcast basically about Charlie Kirk, and my co-host is white. We're both these white chicks. People don't believe us when we say, it's not just white people. There are so many
Lives he
different
touched.
walks of life
Yeah.
touched by this, but also
On the right.
leaning toward the right or on the right.
Oh, yes.
And I said, would you mind like saying something on video to like have us have some sort
some
of proof?
vindication.
Because I'm like, you got the accent, you got the look. I mean, come on, you're perfect for this casting. No, but he really wanted to, but he said, I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to be attacked.
Yeah, you're not allowed to admit exactly if you lean right
Right,
at all.
right.
Especially.
And we are in, as a reminder for people listening, we are in Manhattan.
Yeah.
We are in New York City. So this guy, a place of inclusivity, all different types of people, as an immigrant,
even knows.
has to worry about losing his job. He's not a white dude who's
Yeah.
a CEO
Oh.
and's got the life.
They get it even worse because you get, same with this women,
Right.
you get the identity politics that come into play. How could you, as a brown man, support Donald Trump or the right? How could you, as a woman, we're all human beings, first of all. And second of all, hey, if you would let us.
It's a little debatable, especially
this-
Jorge over there,
We,
who I'm waiting to interject and yell at us
yeah, and
because he doesn't agree
free.
with a lot of the things we say or everything. How are we doing so far, Jorge? Are you disagreeing or agreeing? Sorry to cut you off, Alli.
That's okay.
He's like, God damn it, I didn't have.
No, you guys are. As somebody who works in comedy and is like a kid of the internet, like internet generation,
Yeah.
which has typically led towards very edgy stuff. I am personally a fan of like the dark humor, like the example you gave with like the bullet one this time.
Yeah,
Like that's funny. That's
that's funny if it killed if it killed a pedophile. I'm totally for dark humor if it killed a pedophile, not a Christian, family-loving, God-fearing man who only wants better for this country. That is a level. Like I'm a comedy purist. Like jokes all day long, but there is a level at which, and I'm sorry, I know I asked your opinion, then I was like, nope, stop talking. But that it's like the 9/11 stuff. Too soon? Now, no, not too soon anymore. But like the day after, but especially. Anyway, I'll let you continue. But I like dark humor. I think that's sadistic humor, and I think that there's a difference.
Yeah, for me, it's more so you have to take a step back and like it's objectively, like it's the same thing when somebody makes a point that you don't agree with. Like you don't want to agree with the person, but they bring up a good point, and you go like, you have to hand it to them because objectively, like you're right. Like you might have.
Yeah,
Like,
that was kind of clever.
Yeah.
Like it has a technical, like all the elements to it. So you just sort of have to be like, okay, you
You're
win.
like you cut the fat out of that joke completely. You nailed it. Well, I do agree though, actually, because that is a dark joke that is pointing out irony that is not untrue and it's clever. And as long as you're not celebratory of it, I get it. It's like I've been arguing with people where people were like, hey, he did say that it's a gun debate and that there are going to be deaths that are unwarranted as a result of it. And so he did die for this cause. Okay, yeah, factually that is true. But when people are like, yes, they got him, the guns got him, that's when I'm really like, that's despicable to me.
My problem is that, yeah, he may have not had malicious intent saying it. Like it was just a clever observation, a paradox, an irony.
And he probably did have malicious. I would read that for sure.
Yeah, but the amount of people that then got joy from that and did celebrate over that, that's where it's like, keep that one to yourself, motherfucker. And I don't have a joke about Charlie Kirk, but I have something that I'm very surprised. I mean, I haven't been looking for it, but there's one thing that I'm surprised I haven't seen yet in regard to making a joke about his death. It, to me, is a very obvious one. I'm not going to say it because it'll be going against my principles. But it's kind of good.
Okay.
But it's one of those things where, yes.
Oh, wait, you're still not going to say it?
No, I'm not going to say it.
I was like waiting for it.
And people are probably like, you just don't really have it. No, believe me, I have it. Because I do see reality. It's not like I take a look at someone and I say, oh, no, it's all off limits.
Right.
Like we can't. No, we're in constant scanning mode.
Yeah.
That's what we do as human beings. We look for like pattern recognition. We look for anomalies. Like we're just meant to do that. So, yeah, in my head, I've got one. Never say it. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's a joke, but I think it could be out there at some point or it could be out there right now. But the sadistic nature is like where I draw the line. Again, against a person.
The celebratory nature is what I really don't. Yeah, I have a problem with
predatory and a murderer. Like people, and this is okay. This is the other thing. People treat actual murderers and rapists and horrific human beings a million times better than they treated Charlie Kirk in this. A man on death row, perhaps. This is not a specific example, but a man on death row. I'm very not pro capital punishment.
Okay.
And like I don't know because I put myself in the position of like, well, if it was my family member, what would I think? But I do lean more toward the spiritual side of let God take care of it. Just like I'm not going to kill the ant.
Right.
I don't feel comfortable being in control of whether something lives or dies.
Yeah.
No matter like, what they did. But
I think for some crimes, I definitely support it. But yeah, I see your point.
Yeah. So someone could be on death row who murdered 3 children, and there would be way more people on the internet fighting against his execution.
Sure.
And speaking on his behalf.
The ACLU would step in. There'd be organizations.
Kirk.
Yes, absolutely. There'd be candlelight vigils. They'd be writing to senators. Yeah, absolutely true.
So not everybody, but generally, overall, people have lost their humanity.
Yeah.
Like there's some sort of soulless thing going on.
Well, there's glee when someone on the other side takes a bullet.
You know who
that
else
seems to be the case.
is going to die right now?
Who?
This microphone, because my breath is so bad. It is like I really
Were you in such a rush you didn't brush your teeth this morning?
No, I did, but I have like cotton mouth. And like this mic over here, I don't know if you can see it. It's totally drooped down, like a wilted flower.
It's like, oh,
this is gonna end up like that.
These mics are fine, but comedy club mics, I'm sure that we're taking years off our lives. They smell, and like my lips touch them plenty of times, and I'm like, I don't know how I don't have full blown herpes constantly.
It's incredible. No one thinks too much about the mic in comedy.
Oh, one time at Ha, I don't think you were in New York for Ha being a comedy. It was like. What I can't think of a comparison, but it was really just a starter kind of comedy club. Yeah. Everyone went through there, but it was pretty awful.
Yeah.
Someone on stage, a comic, like unscrewed the top of the mic to, I don't remember if the reason why was to see what was, but it was like goopy, like as if it was like a full just loogie inside. It was so disgusting, and we are on that nightly. So
yeah, you just described my fridge. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm very clean.
Like we've had enough exposure. Did you ever see that Simpsons episode where Smithers has so many diseases that they don't affect him because they're so stacked in that none of them can like actually infect him? Yeah, I feel like that's us with germs and microphones in New York City.
But that's the other thing too. I mean, we could go, everything leads and branches into everything else, because we could get into COVID.
Oh, yeah.
There were outside shows. People were using a microphone.
Yeah.
No one said anything about the microphone, but we all, but the mask of everybody in the audience, but the microphone.
Yeah.
No one's talking about the sludge and the bacteria and whatever horror is in there, so it's like.
That's going to start COVID, 25 or whatever the
Right,
next
yeah.
the iteration is. Wait, I have a question regarding that. So after COVID, since I travel a lot, like hotels used to have minibars constantly. Post-COVID, they do not have minibars anymore. That seems like the easiest way to not have to be in contact with somebody. It's in your own room. No one's like handling it if they're not actually drinking this stuff. So it's a hotel. Like hotels can charge like $90 for a can of Diet Coke. Why has that not come back since COVID?
I don't know, and it's funny because before Allie and I recorded our first episode,
yeah,
you were like, you want to do this podcast, and I was like, yes, let's just finally do it. And like one of the first topics was, why aren't there fridges back in hotel rooms? Like it's so up my alley because I love like that. No pun intended, Allie. But it's one of those kind of etiquette things, or like, I have no idea. You would think the money would bring it back. If they're concerned about germs, you got a bed in there where
my
people
God.
sweat
And a remote control.
They sweat through into the mattress.
Exactly.
But we're worried about a fridge that we can spray
that I'm sure
out.
are never washed. Like, unless they're really disgusting. Like, obviously disgusting. Yeah, I don't exactly.
But also, there could be, and I'm doubting this is not the answer, but maybe they had a change of heart and we're like, we shouldn't rip people off. So we're not going to
Nice
put
try.
shit that, I wish. And obviously that's
Definitely not, because the other thing that's happening now is they're trying to charge people for like early check-in or late checkout instead of just giving it to you if it's available.
Yeah.
And I think that someone needs to disrupt the hotel industry, because I stayed at a hotel recently that I was in Detroit. And you check in at 4, which is a little later. Usually it's 3.
Yeah.
And I was there for 3 nights, so it didn't affect me because I had, the full days in between. But the checkout was 10 a.m.
It's always the extreme.
That is insane. Like, it should be 3 and 11, and that's still a really small amount of time to charge for a whole. So it should be like skewed. Like, why has no one come around and said basically, if you check in at 5, you can leave at noon. If you check in at 3, you can leave at 11. Because the maids can't clean all the rooms at once anyways. Like, why? We should open a hotel where it's rolling check-in and check-out is what I'm saying.
I love that rolling
right.
check-in and check-out.
It would be so, because sometimes you get into a hotel at like, I've gone and done shows where I don't get into the hotel until like midnight. Yeah. And if it's one night you're checking out at 10 or 11 a.m., it's ridiculous.
Same rate. Yeah,
yes.
no, you're right. That needs to be interrupted.
Yeah.
Just like this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have any sponsors to interrupt us yet, though. So
one day, although it's going to have to be a very interesting sponsorship because no one likes anyone leaning right.
Joe Rogan. I mean, we're not Joe,
but he definitely well. That's the other funny thing.
He's got a lot of sponsors.
The idea, I think,
Kelly,
and totally, Megyn Kelly is actually right. But I was going to say Joe Rogan has never really disclosed and really does fall in the middle. I think he has maybe more right-leaning views,
now,
I would gather. But yeah, not all of them by any stretch.
Well, he's woken up. And that's actually something that I want to talk about for a second, is the whole woke versus awake. He woke up, so he is awake.
Yeah.
If you go woke at this point, you are asleep. That's what I believe. The word has changed meanings over the years because people will always say, oh, it was taken from the Black community. And yes, it was. But it doesn't mean that anymore.
Yeah.
Like if our parents know the word woke, because there was a point that they did not know woke. They didn't know what that meant.
There's a chance for sure.
Yeah. My dad, surprisingly, knows woke, which means it's made its way through the culture.
Yeah.
But the awake versus woke, they're two completely different things. And where I wanted to go with this really was not so much on just the awake versus woke, but the fact that they're on two different planets.
Yeah.
And we did talk about this in the episode we didn't release, kind of. But it's impossible to have a dialogue with people because, you know, the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus?
Yeah.
It should be...
That's an oldie. Yeah.
It should be like the left is from Mars and the right is from Venus.
And
so-
who's from Uranus? Huh? All right.
I don't want to make a trans joke there. Please don't do that to me. Don't get me in trouble. But basically, if you try to have a conversation with someone, and this happened to me last night personally with a family member, they live on Mars, even though I want to switch it because Elon Musk is the Mars guy. So
there
we're
we
on
go.
we're
So
on
that's-
Mars.
okay.
They're on Venus.
Yeah.
So we're on Mars. They're on Venus. Two different, completely different planets. So if I say to somebody on the phone who's on Venus and I'm on Mars, and I say something like, "Oh, it's so nice to have." God, I wish I knew stuff about planets. It's so nice to have oxygen.
Yeah.
Someone on Venus, if there's not oxygen on Venus, or hey, please Google. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
I
You
know.
don't have to Google.
I know
But
there's a ring around Venus. That's the extent of my knowledge.
if you like it, then you should have put a ring
on
on it.
it.
That planet's married to the other one with the other ring.
Yep.
I don't know. Anyway, horrible analogy that I'm using. But if you say, "Oh yeah, I'm loving this oxygen," the person on Venus, if there's not oxygen, what oxygen?
Right.
It's-
It's two different realities.
It's two different realities. The caveat here is that Saturn exists and Mars exists versus the planet that I believe we're on exists. The planet that so many normies are on, and I just have to use the phrase normies now, there's like no other way to put it.
right.
That's like a Truman Show planet. It's fake. It's not real. And there's a glass or plastic end to it. It's a made up world that is being controlled by the powers that be. But they're clueless, like Truman, like Jim Carrey and The Truman Show, to the fact that they're in a false reality. And so when you try to connect, let's say, with Truman from The Truman Show, and you talk about, you know, traveling to see the mountains and going to space, and Truman, he's like, well, wow, that sounds interesting. Like, I would like to do that.
Yep.
But he can't. And so it's like the people that I believe are stuck in like the fake planet, they can't control their own lives because they do as they're told, and that keeps them on that planet. Like, you must take the vaccine. You must wear this mask. You must stay 6 feet away from people. They follow the rules.
Right.
And God bless them. Lovely. Follow the rules. But they're following the rules because they don't have any control in their own lives because they're not actually free. And I could also, we could totally not be free. This whole thing could be one big bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of that. But when I try to have a dialogue, like I did, again, like I mentioned last night with a family member, it's like speaking a completely different language.
Yeah.
And so if
Were you able to at least have a dialogue, like exchange ideas and debate each other, or was it?
no, I got no
Okay.
response.
Okay.
And I would love to talk about it on air. I will tell you about it afterward. And
Okay.
it's very upsetting. And this is something that comes with what we're doing. And I'm embracing it full force because I do feel, since I was a little kid, I stood up to bullies.
Yeah.
Therefore, I was bullied.
Sure.
They would go after one girl, I would step in the way, and then they would bully me. This is what happened with the comment with you,
Oh yeah.
where the
Oh,
guy
God,
said something
yeah.
mean to you, and I stepped in.
Yeah, and then he went full force. Yeah.
full force on me. It's not out of like, I need to have this valor and like,
Right.
there's something internal, the way I was made or created, that needs to stand up for what they believe is right. I do not like sitting back when I know I could possibly be part of making someone else's life better
Yeah.
or easier or more enjoyable. And so I feel that I'm sorry, I'm like talking slowly. It's the dry mouth. It's like my lips won't open and close. But one thing I will say, which isn't as sacred as family, the family thing that I'm not going to mention at this point, but a girl I grew up with, I've known her since I was fresh out of the womb. Our mothers were friends. Our mothers were parents. Our mothers were friends. I spent every half day at her house from school. We would have peanut butter and fluff sandwiches.
Oh, Nutter Butter is my favorite.
Yeah. And her and I were never best friends, but we've always had a very strong kinship and love, in a sense, for one another. She was also kind of bullied in school. She was very talented, very pretty, and I stood up for her on a few occasions, not too many because she wasn't so bullied that it was necessary. But she unfollowed me on Instagram the day Charlie Kirk died. And this is someone, and like, I'm going to try to not get emotional. And I want to go back to the guy from outside because him mentioning his wife.
Yeah.
But I have been very emotional for the past 2 days. Also, though, Charlie Kirk was killed on my period, like, which is not
doesn't
like
help with
good timing.
emotions. Yeah.
I got my period the same day, like, so.
Yeah.
I have been very emotional for 2 days. I'm a very soft person, but I'm also courageous and I'm not trying to give myself credit, but I'm willing to put myself out there, and I will get very acerbic and sharp-tongued when people come to fuck with me. And it's like, do no harm, but take no shit. And like, that's where I live. For so long, I took a lot of shit. But my friend, the girl, defriended me on Instagram. And her sister, a few years prior, unfriended me on Facebook. And I knew why. And I knew it was political. I didn't say anything like crazy or like out there, but I was at their house. And I could see in her sister's reaction that she didn't like what I said. And something in me went like, I think she might have unfriended me on Facebook. Her and I didn't follow each other on Instagram.
Okay.
I look, she unfriended me on Facebook. And that was a couple years ago. I've known since then that my friend, this is not the
It's
sister.
like shaky ground.
Yeah, like I knew there was a little, every time she'd watch an Instagram story, she would never hit like on a post. She would never hit like on a story, nothing. And so I started to feel like, okay, I know she's got a little resentment or like anger or disagreement toward me. But we've had such a comfortable bond our entire lives. And so and I'm sorry, this is a boring story, but you're going to listen to it anyway.
Okay.
I'm forcing you. But no, you can tell me to stop too. But when I was a little girl, I made their family laugh. Like, her family is one of the reasons why I went into comedy.
Okay.
I made her mother and her father, when he was around, he's like a firefighter, so he was at, he wasn't there all the time, but when he was around, I made them laugh. They got such a kick out of me, and they thought I was such a funny little character, which I was.
Yeah.
Should have seen. I could post a picture of what I looked like. I've always made them laugh. Her mother would say, my funny girl, but we were never like this, where we talk on the phone every day. It's just like, that's someone who will be a lifelong friend until the end. Like, and so her unfriending or her unfollowing me, I sent her a text. And you do want to be measured, but I was angry and hurt because I know she knows who I am and what my heart is.
Yeah.
She knows I'm a good person. And so I wrote something very short, but I just said, and it wasn't like well written or mature really. I just said like, thanks for the unfollow. It's good to know where you stand when it comes to a man being shot in the neck or something. So a little harsh, kind of ish.
Okay.
She didn't write back right away. She wrote back the next morning, which was yesterday. And she wrote something like, very bold and hurtful of you to assume that I stand with someone being murdered. I unfollowed you because I unfollowed anyone who's fanning the flames.
Okay.
Da 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 da.
Right.
What I wrote back was something along the lines of, you've known me since I was, we've known each other since we were born. You know my entire life, I've stood up for people and I've stood up for what's right. Whether or not you agree on what's right at this point in our life, you know my heart is in a good place and I am not fanning the flames. I've stayed quiet for a decade, essentially.
Yeah.
What I did was step in to try to stop the madness. I'm not fanning the flames by perpetuating more and more hate. And I'm saying enough. What I wrote in the post was, we're fucking done. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
That's not fanning the flames.
Well,
That's
but people
taking
are
a stand.
interpreting that as a call to arms. Like, that's the thing, too, with what Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld are saying, as opposed to, I mean, I get to an extent.
But that's their own interpretation of call to
Sure.
arms. When I'm saying enough is enough,
Yeah.
it's saying stop being fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. It has nothing to do with call of arms. And so I said, I am standing up for what I believe in. You know, I've done that my entire life.
Yeah.
But somehow now, none of that matters. And I know we talked about that before. But bold and hurtful of you to think that I have any sort of
Like malice. in your
malice
heart.
to make things worse. I want them to stop.
Yeah.
And so when you put yourself out there like we're doing, and it's probably more intense for me because I'm like the softer, like weaker one. And also I think I know, like I have less flexible people. Like you're like, I have liberals in my life that like are like that.
Yeah.
this and that. I don't know many liberals that aren't militant.
Yeah.
I just don't. So it's like when we're doing a podcast like this, or people put themselves out there like this, this is not to be liked. It's not for the fanfare. It's literally because I feel there's a calling and a purpose for it. And I'm going to lose family members, and I'm going to lose, and she wasn't the only friend that unfollowed me.
Right. I got that too. But I actually also had people message me, same thing, people who I know, but I don't know well. And they said, and I do get it, they said kind of the same thing. They were like, I'm getting anything out of my algorithm that like gets me going, essentially. And I was like, that's totally fine. Like, if people want to just unfollow and message or do whatever, as opposed to the people that want to do these ad hominem attacks and name call. And I'm totally up for debate, or if people just
Well,
are
exactly. Have a
exhausted.
conversation.
Yeah.
And like, sorry to go back to this girl, my friend.
And you actually knew her well. Yeah, which is a different story.
Very well. We could have had a conversation. And then I looked, and her mother, who I've always loved, like I've
Yeah.
always loved her mother,
Yeah.
she unfriended me on Facebook. And so the sister, the mother, and my friend all unfriended me on Facebook. And it's like, why is the onus on me or someone not on the left to be the one who has to shut up
Yeah.
or try to make amends? Why isn't it you reaching out to me and saying, Kristen, you seem really passionate about this. I don't know if it's in a healthy way or it could be, but what's going on?
Yeah.
Instead, a blanket just disconnect for life.
Yeah.
I think
It's extreme.
It's extreme, and it's exactly the actions of that side. There are not people on the right. I'm not unfriending my liberal friends or my liberal acquaintances.
Yeah.
It's them unfriending and unfollowing me. And so
It is that side. I do think that, when Trump won, even the first time, there were so many people that were like, if you voted for Trump, I don't even want to talk to you. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to. And it's like, if half the country voted for this person and you disagree, wouldn't you want
Wanna
to
be
hear
curious?
why? Because most people, are not just racists and misogynists and bigots, which is what they like to believe.
but that's how far out of reality that they are.
Yeah.
That the media has gotten to them to believe
It's
that everybody is a racist and a bigot and a misogynist and a hateful KKK member.
Which-
They've cartoonized.
Yes. And if you look at, especially, and this ties to the Charlie Kirk thing too, because people really make fun of his faith and don't like how Christian he is. Like, I had a gay friend that wrote, he doesn't want me to exist. And I was like, it's so not true. I have
It's so
so
not
many
true.
Christian friends that are 100% like fine with gay rights, want everybody to live a happy life. They might be against gay marriage because it's a religious institution to them, but it doesn't matter because the world has voted that it's fine.
Yeah.
And most people who have their opinion can have a different opinion and no one's taking away rights. It's a crazy thing, but also it's like I live in a very Latin neighborhood. It is so Christian. It's to think that it's just white people, white Republicans that are Christian is insane to me. It's a very big part of Black culture. It's a very big part of Latin culture.
Huge.
Yeah. Oh my God. On Sunday, everyone's in full church regalia in my
Right.
neighborhood. I mean, it's so it's just weird, the attacks.
Yeah.
And the hate. And also, I wanted to say, and this is going to be very inflammatory, and I will actually respond to her comment because she has a friend, people who don't want her to exist. And I would imagine she's very liberal. She's probably pro-Palestine. Hamas and a lot of the culture over there does not want her to exist and would kill her for existing. Nothing in Christianity would do that. It's
No.
and gay rights passed so quickly and so thoroughly on both the left and the right.
Right.
No
It's
one
a
that I know has a
non-issue.
problem. It's a non-issue.
The issue comes up with the trans stuff
Yeah.
in regard to transitioning children and putting it in schools, et
And
cetera.
sports, yes.
Et cetera, right.
Anyone can live their life how they want to, but if it affects other people's lives adversely, it's a problem.
Right.
Especially women's lives. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole Christianity thing with Charlie Kirk, there was a video I watched yesterday. He had a scripture for everything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how
he
people
lived
do it. Like,
a Christian life. The
Yeah.
Bible was his, guiding light.
right. And I'm a Catholic, so it's like we don't really know what anything means. We just kind of go through the motions, and we're like, we like the J-Dog.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
And be kind to everybody.
Right. In the Christian community, which is, the evangelical or the non-denominational, that's more extreme. And I used to have a huge aversion, and I still do have a small one, but I've started to understand them much better in this 5-year spiritual journey that I've taken. But I used to say, I'm Catholic. I used to say, I don't want to be a Jesus freak. That
Yeah.
person's a Jesus freak. I used the term Jesus freak all the time. My mom, Catholic, beautiful Catholic. If she said something like, if you're having a hard time, you can lean on Jesus, I would say, Mom, that sounds like something a Jesus freak would say.
Yeah.
So we all grow and we all change. My perception of Jesus freaks now is much different because I've very much, I'm not going into their churches, etc., but I'm following a lot of Christian, non-denominational Christian accounts. And all I see is love and all I see is support. And then they get obviously nailed to the cross, so to speak, about hating gay people and hating this. That is a 0.0000001% fraction of people who are actually hateful
Yeah.
toward gay people. The Christians that I've seen in my somewhat interactions, but again, online, I'm not going into the churches. It's always love the, like, you don't like the sin, but you love the sinner. Mm-hmm. And that's what it says in the Bible. Jesus loved the sinner and asked them not to sin.
Yeah.
He didn't condemn them. He loved them. And so the demonization of Christians is easy because we won't fight back. Because if you actually have a relationship with Jesus, the church can corrupt things. Churches are separate from Jesus Christ himself. If you have a personal relationship with Jesus, that is something that is unscathed by another human's touch. You can have a beautiful relationship with Jesus and read the Bible and not be religious, quote unquote. You have a relationship with Jesus. You believe in Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So they don't want me to exist stuff is a fallacy.
Yeah.
They
Well, someone else wrote in the comments, like, show me one place where Charlie Kirk said anything about not wanting you to exist. And no one responds when there's a comment like that.
Show me. I wanted to actually say to a certain person who reacted to one of our posts. Speaking of, if you would like to follow us on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
So bad at this. At the Ho Rogan
Join
Pod.
into all the action.
HOE. I wanted to say something back to her just in regard to a claim she made. I wanted to say, provide me videos, provide me links, but
what
I
was
didn't.
the claim?
It was something regarding him, Charlie Kirk, either like hating gays or hating black people or something like that, or being disrespectful. Well, that was one. That was one you addressed.
And I was like, getting sassy during a debate is always going to happen, but disrespectful
is very different.
Very different. Yeah.
People would walk up to Charlie Kirk and they would say, "Fucking hate you. I hope you fucking die.
Yep.
You're ugly. You have big gums, and fuck you."
Yep.
And he wouldn't insult. He would not.
He wouldn't resort to those.
He would
personal
not
attacks.
resort to those attacks.
Yeah.
And he would sit there, take it like a man, and still try to have a dialogue.
Yeah.
And that is what this monster took from us.
Yeah.
They took a wonderful human being that was only making the world more cohesive, believe it or not, as much as they want to deny it.
Yeah.
And the guy next door who was watching that clip, he said he stood up and started talking. And he said, for us, he's like, if you want to come by afterward, come by, we'll talk. But he said, and I'm going to get choked up when I said this, and I got choked up earlier, but he said, my wife has been crying for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I said, I've been crying for 2 days. And I saw so many videos, and not in like, there's that way of like people crying in their car and it's attention seeking. And this is so different. This is so genuine. I wish I could like pull it up, or I don't even know how things work with like YouTube standards or whatever. But
for playing clips, I'm not sure either.
Yeah, but I saw the strongest, most manly looking men, and I don't mean white masculinity patriarchy style. I mean, I'm talking strong black dudes.
Yeah.
White dudes with tats all over their neck, their face, their hands, breaking down in tears.
Yeah.
This hit a chord for people. And I wrote a tweet last night, and I tried to write it like thoughtfully. And do you mind if I read it?
No, go ahead.
Sorry. And I'm like totally bogarting this conversation. I'm gonna shut up after this.
It's fine.
And it's not that profound, but it was just how I was truly feeling. And of course, it's only got 21 likes because you guys can also follow me at Kristen Carney on Twitter or X.
I always
and Alli
forget about
Breen.
Twitter. I only ever use Instagram.
I know
should
you're
try to. I know
You're
I
not on there. I like
ever. Do you post our stuff on there? I don't even know.
I've posted like 2 things.
Okay. I think initially when we did it, I had a thought like, oh, I should post this on Twitter for a second. Then I forgot Twitter existed all over again. I'm never on there.
Yeah, and it's not a fun place to be. It really
Yeah.
isn't. And this is not groundbreaking, but it just was an honest sentiment that I just wanted to share, and I think is accurate for a lot of people, because I do think this touched a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yes, murders happen every day. Everyone's life is precious. We understand that. This is different because this man was in the spotlight, genuinely trying to make a difference.
He was the head of a movement, a big movement.
He was. And ironically, Turning Point USA, his organization, I do believe this is going to be the turning point.
Yeah.
And when he named his organization however many years ago, I don't think he had in mind Turning Point because I'm going to be assassinated.
Of course.
So I just want to like share this kind of little sentiment. I was shocked at how emotional I have been. Period or no period. And
I think we're synced up, by the way, because I
Are
also,
we?
yeah. So
great.
now everyone knows our cycle.
Yeah. Jorge, are you on?
Unfortunately, not. We need to get a few more sessions in before we can all.
Yeah, I know we do. Yeah, it's
Then
more,
we'll all really merge.
more
That's perfect.
consistent. I wrote, I don't think we fully realized just how deeply Charlie Kirk influenced us, how much hope he gave us, and how much he made us feel like we had a voice. If I ever considered the possibility of him being killed, of course I would have expected to feel sadness and outrage. But living it now, I can't seem to get a grip. Like I couldn't stop crying. Like I could not get a grip. It's so much heavier than I could have ever imagined. For years, we've had no choice but to live with a wall around our hearts like Alli does every day.
Yep. I love my wall.
Just to endure the constant hostility of this political climate. But his loss and the cruel, sadistic nature of it has cracked something open in so many of us. The shock knocked down all those bricks around I can't read. Knocked down all. There's nothing worse than like trying to read something like meaningful and then not being able to read it. And today, Junior. The shock knocked down all those stacked bricks in our chest, and suddenly all those buried feelings piling up year after year have come rushing to the surface. So many grown men have shed genuine tears online. I don't think I've ever seen anything of this magnitude before. This is seismic. The tears feel like a purge that we all desperately needed. Like we needed a collective release before we gather ourselves to rebuild and put back on the armor that we have to wear daily. Witnessing so many different walks of life uniting in the shared reverence of one man will forever, and I know as people are like roll their fucking eyes at this, but witnessing so many different walks of life uniting in our shared reverence for one man will forever be imprinted on our hearts. And so will the spiritual quest we're about to embark on to save the soul of this nation. So maybe a little bit, I don't know, over dramatic, but
It's beautiful.
just
though.
like full of like tears. And
Yeah.
I'm not a poet by any means, but the impact it was confirmed with who I've seen online, like every race, every creed, there's a video of a bunch of people, whether they're gay, or transgender or straight or white or black or Asian saying, I am Charlie Kirk. Like,
Yeah.
we are picking up the baton where he left it off. We promise, Charlie, we will continue pushing your like
Yeah.
your
we'll
death will
hold the
not
torch.
be in
You're
vain,
gonna-
and we are going to hold your torch. And I think it's just when you are a peaceful, when you genuinely are a good person, like Charlie was genuinely a good person,
Yeah.
not wanting DEI or being in favor of the second
Amendment.
I was going to say
Or
commandment.
being pro-life. That was another thing he was really demonized over.
Right. That's that's a good thing. And
And it's his right to have those feelings and to debate people who have different views. Yeah.
right. And I think and then I'll stop here, but the emotion, like, I'm not used to living in a hardened way.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you are more so. And
Yeah.
so the last 5 years between losing my mom and the world at the same time that the world completely changed,
Yeah.
I had to switch from this very soft,
Like protected.
protected,
Sheltered person.
nurturing
Yeah.
world to, and I feel bad because some people never had that in their life.
Yeah.
And I'm very blessed that I had it. But it's a very difficult transition from being a very soft, sentimental, loving person to being, sorry, this is like,
No,
to being in a world that is so hard and so cruel in so many days. Sorry, this is so lame.
it's not lame.
Finally,
at all.
I'm gay. I'm on the left. No, just kidding.
They broke
But
you.
the thing is, too, though, I'm like a 2005 liberal. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
but to be pushed into this hardened anger that just erodes at your soul every single day, sorry,
yeah.
is really, really fucking hard for someone who's highly sensitive, which whatever. And I call myself an HSP, highly sensitive person, which is definitely something that should make me not be part of the right.
Well, that's the thing. Like, those
But-
are misnomers. It's just what people
like
like
we're-
to slap on as labels, and it's crazy.
Exactly. It's like people are nuanced.
Yes.
They have dualities, and the news and the media and politicians have taken away our humanity, and they've made us one-dimensional,
Yeah.
evil, corrupt people when they're the corrupt ones and they're the evil ones. But it's really hard to live under that label when you know it's false. And so many times I've thought, thank God my mom died when she did, because she was not meant to see this world in the state she wasn't. And she died during COVID, not from COVID.
Right.
So it was getting,
It
getting
was
somewhere.
right at the beginning of the
But she
high
did,
tension.
but she didn't make it into where it is now, or even in 2021. Like,
Yeah.
so. Obviously, I'm not glad she's not here, but I just think I'm so glad that my mom's sensitive.
Nature was
Nature.
not exposed to this.
No, and I think God took her because she wasn't supposed to live through this. This was so opposite of her soul.
Yeah.
So, sorry. Anyway,
Don't apologize.
and we were supposed to tape yesterday, but I was like, no, I'm way too
Yeah.
emotional. And I thought today I would be like more.
It's actually, I mean, I think it's a good thing to be that emotional in life. It's just not good for your own well-being, in a sense, to feel things so fully. Like, it's also the case that it used to be when we were growing up that the two sides were similar and we had different ideas of how to make the world better, but we understood that we all wanted the same goal.
Right. I didn't worry about losing my aunt because of
Exactly. And that voicing your opinion would make someone call you a bigot or a racist. It's just, hey, we're viewing the problems and the ills of the world in a different way and think going about solving them. And like you said, the 2005 liberals are really aligned with what you and I think. It's like Bill Clinton was about welfare reform, which is what you were talking about. It's not kind to keep somebody reliant on the government. It's better to help them get a step up. It's almost like raising minimum wage. It sounds great, but you raise it, you're keeping everyone still under that umbrella as opposed to trying to keep it here, have high school, college kids do it, and then other people jump above it and get more skills and get more. It's like, the hard love is not considered love anymore. It's like you have to coddle people and just give them everything. And
if you don't, you're an
asshole and a monster. And it's like, no, we love people just as much or more and think that there's a way for everyone to have a better life and to live cohesively.
Yeah.
The demonization is a huge problem. And yeah, if you take to heart what people say, it's, a really rough place to be.
Yeah, and I try not to take everything to heart, but what it feels like is like in Ghostbusters when there's all that pink sludge under the city.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, that we're just living in this pink sludge and it thrives off of negative energy and negative emotions and hate. And that's the world that we've been living in. And
the party of tolerance and joy seems to be the one spewing a lot of it. Yeah.
And maybe carnation's the flower. Maybe maybe reincarnation is a thing. Maybe it's not. I know I'm Catholic. I'm not supposed to believe in reincarnation. There is something I read that like there was something about reincarnation in the Bible, but
I am not the one
queen.
to ask.
I know,
It's like-
but it's kind of interesting, and it's not fully verified. But there was a queen at some point who wanted reincarnation taken out of the Bible because she did not want the people to see her as anything but ever being a queen.
Oh,
I don't know.
That
if
sounds
that's,
very queen-like.
Yes,
but
it
yeah.
does. very cunty-like.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of people like me, like the guys that I saw crying yesterday and the day before on Instagram. I think it's like everyone is so exhausted and they just need a release to continue forward. Like living in Ghostbusters with all the sludge and it's just more bubbles. Every time it would get hate, it would bubble up more and bubble up more and bubble up more. And we need to turn the bubbling down.
Yeah.
And Charlie was...
Turn the temperature down, literally. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Charlie was that thing that broke hopefully is that thing that broke all of the pink sludge. Like in the movie, it's like the worst special effects, but it like lifts.
I love
lifts
80s special effects,
It's
how
the
horrible
best.
they are now. Yeah.
It's so bad. But the city, the skyline's like covered in pink sludge.
Right.
Like hardened.
Yeah.
And then once they get rid of the bad guy, what's his name? Who...
the slime guy? Like the one of the ghosts?
The one, I think it was Vigo the Carpathian.
Oh.
So yeah, Vigo, who people say like Trump like looks like Vigo the Carpathian. So I like don't even say, of course. But once they kill Vigo the Carpathian, the sludge starts to lift off the city because the negative energy is lifting and is going away. And you see the special effects of all the pink sludge like flying up into the air and lifting off of the buildings.
Okay.
And I think this Charlie Kirk thing, the tragedy of it, could possibly lift some of the pink sludge, hopefully, off of the country that we've been living in that's hardened and can let us breathe for a minute.
Yeah, and the thing is, whenever anyone takes someone out of this magnitude, they're martyring them. I mean, he's a complete martyr now. There's nothing about his message that hasn't been amplified at this point. even with the haters, it's like people who did not know. Like I said, I have a lot of liberal friends and not really crazy wackadoos, a lot of normal ones. And they just don't consume, they don't get the news on the right. They don't listen to Rogan. They don't listen to Megyn Kelly. A lot of them had no idea who Charlie Kirk was. They did think he was a bigot and they thought he was a guy spewing hate. And they looked at some of his stuff. And I literally got texts today. Like one of them was literally basically like, I don't find what this guy's saying offensive. You know, and maybe some of the stuff they will find offensive. Right. But he's not spewing hate. He's just talking about an opinion that he wants someone to bring facts against so that he could be changed. He could be swayed just as much as he could sway college kids. But like I said, the people who didn't even know who he was are now looking him up. And I don't know that they're going to find that they hate him. Right. They might find like, hey, this is a guy that actually was doing good in the world.
Yeah. And there's a couple videos that I've seen of people that were not radicalized necessarily, but were the day in the morning before Charlie was murdered. They were Democrats.
Yeah.
And I've seen multiple videos of people saying,
"This
I'm
is
done.
Too much.
That was it. That was it for me."
Did you see the video of Megyn Kelly and Glenn Beck crying?
Yeah.
So I don't get where that came from because I listened to Megyn Kelly and I listened to the podcast with Glenn Beck on it, and I didn't see that part. They must have still been taping after.
There must have been like a special segment after,
or maybe they roll it in. I think they
Yeah.
do extra on YouTube or something, and I only listen.
But they were both
heartbreaking.
genuinely crying.
Oh my God! I mean, the people who he touched who didn't know him are crying. The people who he did have in his life are heartbroken. I mean, yeah, it's everybody said the same thing, that he was the same person on camera as he was off camera. It was, you know, religion, family, and country all the way. And that he did not have any hate in his heart. And so, I mean, those are the people who get taken out a lot. They're the most dangerous, the genuine people who can start a movement, you know, that can really enforce change are the ones who get taken out.
Yeah. I keep referencing like, oh, I saw this video or that video. It's like, okay, enough with the videos, Kristen. But
that's life, though. We all live on our phones.
Yeah, we do. And
Yeah.
my friend sent me this morning, Jen, who who complimented you, and only insults me.
I love her. Just kidding.
On my last podcast, people would know her as resident consultant Jen. She would come on the show sometimes.
Oh.
She's so funny, and I love Jen so much. I'm so emotional.
That's okay.
But she sent me a video this morning, and it was of this woman who tats up to the neck, hands, you know, covered. She's a lesbian, short haircut, and she was crying.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm gonna lose, like, my friend. Like, I've already tried a little bit to leave the side of things. But it was difficult, but this level of evil, I cannot stay. And she was crying, and she's like, and I've been told my whole life that they don't want me because I'm a lesbian. But she said, but I feel really pulled toward God right now.
Yeah.
And she's like, and I need to find, and she said, I know they're inclusive, and I know, like, I'll be welcomed, but she was just basically like, I'm being caught. That's what this is doing to me. It's waking me up to good versus evil, and I don't want to be part of the evil.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it really is changing the tide.
I think it is, and it's the beginning. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, and that's probably a pretty good place to wrap it up in.
Yeah. Well, I really wanted the show, like, not obviously before, but I like lightened my hair.
Oh yeah.
But I've just been like in a ball crying for 2 days, and I like didn't have a chance to
hair
get
lightning
ready.
has gone to waste.
Right.
Just
like,
seeing the dark
I just
inside of your.
spent so much money and not. I just wanted attention for my.
It does look
highlights.
great, by the way. I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, it looks better on camera than in person. I don't.
No, I don't think that's true. But it actually does look blonder, I think, on camera
Yeah.
Because the light
The
shining
lighting,
off. It's
yeah.
like how I always get told, like, I'm not actually this white.
Right. Like you're like
On camera,
how
I'm
you're
always like
fuzzy.
a glow. Yeah, exactly.
You're like a spirit.
It's
Like
so funny. Yeah, we had talked about it because all of my videos are fuzzy. I don't know how people get clear video. And then Kristen and I, the first time we did the podcast, she's clear and I'm fuzzy. I'm like, oh, I'm just a fuzzy person because the exact same cameras are on.
no, that just means so much bright light is shining out of you.
That's right. I'm just exuding spirituality, although I have
Yeah.
none inside me.
Yeah. No, like right now I'm like, is this a near-death experience? And is Allie my like spirit guide?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I will guide you somewhere crazy.
Yeah.
I promise.
yeah. Well, yeah. So anyway,
Hopefully for the next one, they will not be such heavy topic matter.
yeah,
and
I
we'll
know. It's
see.
like I want to be funny. I want to have fun. I want
Yeah.
to. So
So we'll see. Hopefully everyone will stay sane in the next week and we can get back to some jokes.
yeah, I know it's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
I know. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, but until then, we're gonna do some social media plugs.
Yes.
So, number one, first of all, I've got beef with Apple, which I maybe shouldn't say out loud, but I've been trying to get our podcast on Apple since day one.
Oh.
For whatever reason, there's an error with the RSS feed. I've been emailing them back. I had to write them a thesis, essentially, on how I tried to get our show on Apple.
Okay.
I had to do a screen recording. I had to include screenshots and step by. I mean,
Good Lord. It's like going to court.
it took me. It took me
Yeah.
a couple hours. I mean, the whole thing is now but taking me hours. So
They're like, prove that you haven't gotten on Apple.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm just not on Apple. Don't you guys see that? We need screenshots.
right, and step-by-step directions that you've taken and what days and what times. So I had to look back at timestamps because I had taken screenshots of it not working. So I was like,
Oh, thank God.
but then it was like, do a screen recording. But I'm like, I don't know how to do a screen recording. So I have to figure out how to do a screen recording. And even though I should probably know how to do screen. But like the whole thing is just the biggest headache. But trying to get on Apple, and they've written back saying like, thank you. We've submitted this to our team and we will be in touch. And I'm like, do you have any, at one point I said, do you have any idea of like a time frame, like a month,
right.
2 weeks, 6 months, like, and of course there's no time frame. So we're not on Apple right now. So people have said like, well, where do we listen to your podcast? So we're on Spotify,
Yes.
and it is tricky because if you look up Ho Rogan podcast for the first time, it's just Joe Rogan. Like it thinks it's
That
spelling
is
it
misspelling,
wrong.
of course. Yeah.
But if you type in like Ho Rogan podcast, Alli Breen, it will come up. Or
Kristen Carney.
Right. And,
Okay.
And then the next time you type it in,
It'll
will
come
up
back
right underneath
In
Joe.
memory. Okay.
Joe Rogan.
All
Yeah.
right. So we need more people to search for us.
Yes. So
To get up there.
please, if you listen on Spotify, rate and review. I think, I don't really know where you review, but just rate 5 stars.
Yeah.
If you're going to rate anything less than 5 stars, then don't rate.
I agree. I don't get it. I love that people. Have you ever seen when people rate something like
It's
if they
great.
receive
4
something,
stars.
It makes no sense. Or they'll rate something like without starring it and just put a comment, and it's like haven't listened yet, but looking forward to it. It's like
Right.
why are
What?
you rating
Right,
anything?
right. That's so
You're
unhelpful.
insane. Yeah.
Right. I'm rating this comment 0
Yes.
stars. But it is so weird. I have seen ones that are like, this was a really good show. Maybe it's a mistake, but it'll be 3 stars.
I never understand. That's like Airbnb that happens sometimes. People will be like, we had such a great stay. It was fantastic. 3
1 star.
stars. And it's like, what? Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck?
What is wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. But and then YouTube.
And then YouTube, which is at the Ho Rogan podcast, I believe. But just type that in along with our names in the search bar.
Okay.
In the soup bar.
It'll come up. And also, I don't know if you have it, but I have the YouTube link in my bio
Yeah.
on Instagram. So you can find it that way just by going. But I think I have it linked to the first episode as opposed to
The actual page.
Yeah, so I'm going to change that.
And then the other thing is we are on all the other podcast platforms. Like
Okay.
Amazon has a podcast thing. Good Listens or something. I don't know. But there's a bunch of different ones.
Just keep searching it.
We're on
and listening to it on all the
Yeah,
platforms.
yeah. But I'm paranoid. I'm like, does Apple know that? Like, I don't. have their same politics and they're making it difficult for
That's
me.
hilarious. I know. That's the go-to now. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, are we being like shadow banned?
Yeah. And
Probably.
right. So anyway, maybe one day we'll be on there once the revolution. I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
But yeah, one day we'll be on Apple Podcasts. But for now, YouTube and Spotify and then all the other ones.
Perfect.
All
All
right.
right. Till next week.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Ho bag.
Bye, ho. Time to get to our hoedown.
We probably, by the end of this, we'll end up just in cowboy hats and going to hoedowns.
Probably.
Yeah.
Full boots.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Sorry. So awkward.